Is that noticeable on the light?
A little bit, but it's okay.
No, you see, now you look Anglo. When it goes off. Hello, listeners. This is F. Molina, and I got Sonny. How you doing, Sonny?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, man. I got some loose shingles. I got a flipped over fence. So, having seeing all that like damage, I thought we spoke and we think it's a good idea to bring on the man that knows property damage, knows how to file insurance claims, Michael Moore, who's been doing this for how long, Michael?
Long time, long time. I mean, I'm practicing law since 1991, so insurance claims, since at least the hailstorm back in 2012.
And Michael, thank you so much for joining us, giving this free advice to people, because right now people are scared, they're concerned, they're just now like noticing their damage at their house. So thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing your 30 plus years of knowledge.
Oh, no problem. No problem. It's kind of a weird time. Everybody's outside cleaning up the debris and not knowing what's going on, what happened, what's going on, how much damage they have. So yeah, it's kind of pretty amazing thing. Who would have ever thought that the valley would have been hit by a hurricane? Last Thursday. That storm looked like it was going to go to San Antonio.
Well, that's what my wife and I were talking about. We were saying that it kind of hit us by surprise. I had no idea there was a hurricane coming until a friend of mine sent me a text asking me what I was doing about the hurricane on Friday, and I said, "What hurricane?"
Right. And write down all the areas, damages that you're seeing out there. Of course, in the age of cell phones and iPhones and all that kind of good stuff, take tons of pictures because down the road, 6 months, a year from now, everything's going to be grown or some things are going to be fixed. So it's going to, so we need to document what's damaged out there. Make a list, take photographs, call your insurance company. Sometimes insurance companies are going to want you to write an email or call your agent. I mean, sometimes it needs to be in writing, sometimes it doesn't. Just ask your agent, but call it in, get a claim number. You're going to get a claim number. Write that down. The next thing that they're going to do is call you back. There's going to be an adjuster that's going to call you back. They're going to introduce themselves and kind of go through the claims process. On that notepad, you're gonna write your list down on stuff. Write down the name of the person you're talking to, because and write down what you talk about. Just take some notes. It's not that big of a deal because you're gonna want to be able to document stuff. What the adjuster is gonna do is ask you whether or not you have any current problems. Let's say openings in your roof or leaks, whatever. And if you do, you need to work on getting those leaks either tarped or temporarily fixed or whatever. They call that mitigation. And then what they're going to do is they're going to schedule a time for an adjuster to come out there and look at the property. And it's good for you to meet the adjuster there and go through what you've identified. But the adjuster is a professional, and the adjuster should. You need to show them the areas that you have damage, but the adjuster is a professional, and then they'll go out there and find the rest of the damages. And just it's also real important is keep receipts of the stuff. Receipts for tarps or temporary repairs or whatever it may be, because that gets applied to your deductible down the road. Okay. Some people may have $1,000 deductible. Another person may have a percentage of the value of their house.
Hey, Mike,
whatever it is.
Mike, what's a deductible? What is that?
Okay. So let's say, for example, you have $10,000 in damages in your house and you have $1,000 deductible. The insurance company is not going to pay the deductible. They're going to pay the $9,000 of the $10,000. Okay. And when you bought your policy, you made a determination at that point what kind of deductible you wanted. Sometimes it's a percentage of the value of the house, sometimes it's a fixed dollar number. But whatever that is your deductible, and that's your out of pocket before you get into the insurance money. So in other words, you get $10,000 in damages and have $1,000 deductible. The most insurance companies can be liable for is the $9,000.
It's kind of like a copay, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like a copay. I mean, insurance companies, you have your copays and you have your deductibles, and insurance too, the same sort of thing with property damage claims. A lot of people out there just or don't have electricity. I mean, I've got neighbors down the street; they're having to go into hotel rooms. Most insurance policies have a provision there called alternative living expense, and or what we call ALE. And how ALE works is that if you go out and have to buy, if you have no electricity and you have to buy food out and you have to go have a hotel, keep those receipts because you'll get reimbursed down the road for what they call alternative living expense until your home is in good condition. And some other people have coverages for spoilage, all the food in your freezer or your or refrigerator, whatever it is. Of course, you have no electricity for a couple of days; it's all gone. And so you're gonna be able to claim that if you have spoilage coverage. Of course, you take pictures of what's inside the refrigerator because they're going to know what you have in there. But anyways, just for everybody's out there. But all your receipts for meals and all your receipts for hotel rooms, all that kinds of stuff is a reimbursable part of your claim. So keep track of that.
And this, of
Um,
course, it all varies policy to policy, isn't that true?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, most policies have ALE, but that's just the coverages you get, and that's a pretty common type of coverage, alternative living expense. What we had here was a hurricane, and a hurricane is considered a windstorm, and most policies have coverage for windstorms. But the thing is, the legislature in 2017, they changed the law and they made it much more complicated for going after the insurance company. I don't know if you all want to talk about that, but it's real important on how to present a claim at the end of the day.
Yeah, Mike,
Yeah, no, we can totally.
how do you present a claim?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, what has to happen is that you got to figure out your scope of damages, okay? And so you're going to want to get a second opinion on what your damages are out there, okay? Not because the insurance company, a lot of times what happens is they go over there and they'll say, "Oh, you have $2,000 in damages. Your deductible is $2,500. Oh, sorry, see you later." You don't get any money. And then you have a roofer come by, or you have a contractor friend looks at the house and say, "Hey, you've got $35,000, roof damage. You've got $10,000 interior damage, all this kind of stuff." So what has to happen is that the insurance companies want these estimates done in a specific manner. It's a software package of Xactimate. What it does, it line items all of the different damages, and it has in there, and that software is able to do the estimates based upon local pricing of labor, local pricing for products, and it's all itemized individually. So the insurance company wants everything itemized. A lot of contractors don't use itemized statements like that. Usually, to say, okay, roof is X, interior Y, whatever it is. This estimate is all itemized. So what you need is to find a contractor that can do an itemized statement through Xactimate, and you present that to the carrier. If the carrier doesn't pay it, then you're going to need to get a lawyer to help you. And under the new law, you have to present the claim in a specific way under the Texas Insurance Code. The specific section is called 542A. And anyways, so you present you present your demand, and the carrier theoretically has 60 days to come out and reinspect the property. Um, Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's designed. The theoretical part is designed to get the carrier and the homeowner back together again, find a resolution. I'm telling you, in the last 1,000 claims I've done, that never happened. It has to happen. And then after the period of time, the demand comes and goes. Then at that point, you can file a claim. I mean, when I say file a claim, I mean say you can file a lawsuit.
Hey, Michael, if people wanted to call you to handle their claim, is there a certain period of when they can call you, or?
So I mean, okay. The statute of limitations on these claims is generally 2 years. And of course, these are all insurance policies. They're all written a little bit differently. Normally, it'd be 2 years from the date their claim has been denied, but some policies have a provision in there and say that they have to filed a claim or a lawsuit. I mean, a claim or a lawsuit within 2 years of the event. It all depends on the policy. Again, my point is, call me sooner. We can help you sooner. We can give you a second opinion sooner. Um, I don't know if they got caught up on the last segment, but if they call us for a second opinion, we go out there and look at it. And if there's no damages, we don't charge a inspection fee. We don't charge attorney's fees or stuff like that. They get a free second opinion. The and if they, if the homeowner calls us and they want us to help them file a claim, we'll be glad to do it for them. And if they get, whatever they get paid up front, we don't charge a fee on that. It's for us getting new money for the homeowner beyond the initial adjustment. Because again, if the insurance company comes out there and does the right thing, they don't need a lawyer. Okay, that's the best case scenario. But if the insurance company comes out there and there's a lot of damages, and we see that there's, the adjustments under the deductible, whatever it may be, that's when they're going to need some help. That's when they're help through the system, and the system is very complicated. Um,
When it comes to hurricane preparedness, I was there putting sandbags out, and I thought to myself, how is Sonny preparing like for this hurricane? Because if there's anyone that's going to be prepared for anything, it's going to be Sonny. Because Sonny over prepares. So I text Sonny. He doesn't text me back. I think like 10, 15 minutes pass, and then he's like, I'm drinking tequila. And I go, but there's a hurricane coming. So then I realized that based on Sonny's Facebook posts, it was National Tequila Taste Testing Day.
It wasn't Taste It was National Tequila Day.
Oh, National Tequila Day. So Sonny was busy doing what, Sonny?
Hey man, you know what? That is, to me, it's more important than Columbus Day. I feel like everyone should get the day off. And I did a 4 tequila tasting. See, so I could try to prove my wife wrong that the tequila that she likes so much isn't that great. And on a blind testing of 4 tequilas, I ended up picking the tequila that she likes the most.
Every single time.
I was like, damn it. Anyway, it was fun getting ready for the hurricane. I mentioned this earlier, and it was the mitigation of your damages, and I feel like we need to talk about that a little bit more, because people don't know what they're supposed to be doing with a lot of people don't know what they're supposed to be doing with the damage to their home. We do have, as homeowners, we have a duty to try and mitigate and fix the damages as best we can while the insurance claim is pending. Isn't that true, Mike?
Yeah, if you've got a leaky roof, you need to go down to Lowe's or Home Depot and go buy a blue tarp and go get somebody to go put it on there. Okay, call your claimant. Call your claimant. Let them know you've got a hole in your roof. You want to let the carrier come look at the roof in an unrepaired condition so they can see how damaged it is. So you may have to spend some money to put a good tarp on there. Because we don't want more rain to come in to cause more damage. We've had cases where the storm caused $10,000 of damages, but the homeowner didn't put a good tarp on, and then the next day it rained even more and caused another $10,000 on top of $10,000, and then the carrier comes out and say, "We're not responsible for the second $10,000. We'll consider the first $10,000 because homeowner, you didn't mitigate your loss." So they're going to try to throw every card they can at you, and the thing is, you just got to be smart about it. Get the temporary repairs done, so you don't have a problem down the road where the carrier is trying to blame you, the homeowner, for not what they call mitigating it. So now if you have no lawyers watch this program, it just means to fix the things temporarily so that it doesn't get worse. That's the whole idea. Is don't let your damages get worse than they already are from the storm, because insurance companies want to try to figure out a way to blame the homeowner for the damages.
Right.
And, Mike, how can people find out? Some people don't even know if they have insurance, or they've been paying a premium with their mortgage. How should they find out what their insurance company is, or who their insurance company is?
So that's a real good question. So a couple of different things here. A lot of folks will have an escrow, and they're paying their mortgage payment, and there'll be a part of it for insurance in there. Thing is, every once a year you should be getting a binder, or let's say a letter or something from your insurance company that shows you have coverage. And quite frankly, if you don't have any of that, worst case scenario, sometimes folks just need to get a hold of the bank and say, hey, who's my carrier? Who's my carrier? And they'll give that information to you. But it's real important to get that. The thing is, we're right after the storm. People are busy, doing temporary repairs and fixing up, cleaning all the debris up. But it's important to get your claim in and not wait, because as time goes on, we all get busy. We all, we get distracted, and then 4 months down the road, you're saying, hey, you know what? I should have called that claim in. And if you call the claim in late, the carrier's going to make a big deal about that, about late reporting of your claim. So it's important to get your claim in early. I mean, we all think, oh yeah, you're going to have damage, you're going to call it in. But the thing is, you just call. There's like a toll-free number, or call your agent. They can get the claim in going. But just get the claim in, because the last thing you want is 6 months down the road we have another deluge, we've had lately, and then suddenly you have you didn't do the repairs, and now you have all this extra damage on there, and you didn't report the claim on time, and they make a big deal about that. Because it's real important for everybody to know is that your roof warranty is voided by the result of wind damage to your roof. And if you've got a voided roof, you've got damage to your property. And that's exactly what the homeowners coverage is designed to do, is to reimburse you and to get you in a position the way you were before, the day before the storm. And so people might think, what's one shingle? Well, that's one shingle you can see. I mean, if you get up there, if you get a roofer up there, they're going to go find hundreds of shingles up there that are lifted up. You won't normally be able to see.
I was woken up by the wife at 3 a.m, and it was explained to me that I did not place the sandbags correctly. So I had to go out into the hurricane and readjust the sandbags that were soaking wet and would not allow themselves to be readjusted. And it was cold. I was in my underwear and flip-flops, and I walked back in, and she said, "Did you readjust them?" And I said, "No."
Too dangerous.
You know what? Your wife's smart. That's one way to get those life insurance proceeds.
Right.
Oh darn! He survived it again. Okay, go back out there.
I always find the preparing for the storm is like the quote unquote that's the part where we're anxious and it's kind of fun and people, they make drinks and what have you. But when the storm actually hits, that's some scary shit, man.
There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of downtime, and a lot of people just get bored. They don't think it's going to happen. It's happened, and suddenly, holy crap, your roof's being peeled off.
Yeah, your roof's being peeled off. There's
and your wife sending you out.
Breaking. It was scary. No, we were fortunate. Our neighbor's fence fortunately flew away, but our fence did not. We just sustained some damage to our pool motor and equipment, so we have a swamp in the back right now. It's pretty gross, but
it's kind of weird how these storms always hit at night. What is that about? I mean, always hit in the middle of the night when everyone's asleep.
Yeah, that sucks too, because we couldn't sleep. It was so loud. It was so loud you couldn't sleep, and the little that I did get to fall asleep, I got woken up by the wife to go adjust sandbags. At one point, I was like in and out of sleep, and my 4-year-old came into the living room, because I was sleeping in the living room because it was quieter in the living room than it was in our bedroom, and I just saw a dark shadow of like a little doll walking towards me. I was half in dreamland. I freaked out. I thought the storm sent a goblin.
Flood insurance and FEMA. So a lot of folks out there had rising water. Rising water is not covered by your homeowner's policy. That's called flood insurance. Your typical homeowner's policy provides coverage for storm damage, which is like wind and rain and broken windows or shingles. I mean, something that causes damage by the wind. Rising water because of a flood is not considered a wind damage claim. It's called a flood claim, and you have to buy that separately from your homeowners. It's a separate policy. A lot of people don't have it because they don't live in an area that's prone to floods. But if you do have flood coverage and you do have a flood, you need to call the claim in. It's a different carrier. Call your agent. They have that information for you. If you have no insurance, or if you don't have, or for example, you have no flood insurance, then you would qualify. Well, I'm not saying I'm not an expert at this, but FEMA is insurance of last resort in terms of, going to trying to collect money for your damages for floods and that kind of stuff. And we don't handle FEMA claims or flood claims. That's handled differently, and we handle only what they call, storm claims or hurricane claims, those sorts of things. So that's what we do, and that's the difference in those three types of things. And one's wind claims, the other's flood. If you have no insurance, then you're going to want to look at the FEMA, because this has been declared a federal disaster area. So FEMA is going to come in and do some adjusting for folks that have no coverage.
And this doesn't just apply to homes either, right, Mike? It applies to stores, business owners, commercial buildings. You've got damage, you own a building or you own any kind of structure and it's got damage and you've got a policy that you think covers it, hey, it's worth to check it out, right?
Exactly. And what, anytime you own a piece of property that's got a mortgage, you're going to have insurance on it. I mean, period. And so, yeah, I mean, if you're concerned that you don't want to file a claim because you don't want to hurt your claims record, you never had a claim, whatever, well, give us a call and we'll go take a look at the property. And if we find damages, then you need to file a claim. And if you don't, it's another thing. If you delay in filing a claim, if you don't file a claim, and let's say a couple years down the road, you sell the property, well, the buyer is going to look at the property, and if they find that you have existing hurricane damage that you didn't fix, they're going to use that to negotiate a lower sales price. So sooner or later, this is going to be addressed. Either you do it today with the claim process and get it fixed, or later on down the road when you try to sell the property, well, and the buyer of the property is going to take a credit on the purchase because of pre-existing storm damage. So it's got to get addressed one way or another. It's going to be addressed.
Mike, you said earlier that FEMA is going to be down here because we were designated as a disaster area. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
How does the designation of a disaster affect your insurance claim?
Well, it's not going to affect your insurance claim with your storm damage claim. It doesn't affect it at all. I mean, because you have insurance.
Right.
FEMA is for people that don't have insurance on their buildings or their homes or businesses or whatever it may be. Right. Okay.
Mike, what if someone's house was damaged in a prior storm and they filed a claim and got paid for it and then they didn't make any repairs? Can they do anything about it now?
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. We're going to have to work through that. And so the big deal is that we're going to have to figure out what's the prior damage and what's the new damage. But if the damage to your property is the same damages today as it was in your prior claim, then there's really nothing to do. You've got to do the repairs. And if you don't do the repairs, it's like if you had a car accident and you destroyed your front bumper, and then you get paid for your front bumper, and you have another car accident involving your front bumper, you're not going to get paid for it twice.
Right.
So.
Okay. Mike, thanks for being with us today, and this information hopefully helps the public. This is what you need to do if you want to file an insurance claim, or not if you want to file an insurance claim, but if you need to file an insurance claim because you're seeing damage on your property. So if you have any questions, you can call the Moore Law Firm at the number down there. You can call the P. Garza Law Firm. That's my law firm. You can call the office of Ef'n Molina. We all practice in this area, and we're here to help with any questions you might have.